Have you ever dreamed of living among the millionaires and billionaires? If you have, here's your chance, because there is an upcoming new launch happening in September right in District 10. And this project is actually surrounded by one of Singapore's most exclusive residential enclave. Introducing Amberwood at Holland. It's a new low-rise project located at Holland Link. Actually, there was one thing that caught my attention. When the developer bid for this land, right, they actually outbid the second bidder by 22.2%. Did they overpay? Or did they see something in Holland Plains that other developers didn't? Here's what we are going to find out in today's video. So in today's video, I will be covering a few things. Number one, I will be talking about the project details. I will also talk about the location and what are the future transformations that will be happening in Holland Plains itself. And then next, I will also break down the estimated pricing for the development itself. Right now, we have no indicative, so currently, whatever I show later on will actually be based on my own opinion and my opinion only. And last but not least, I will also share about who I think this project actually makes sense for. Okay, so project details. Let's start with the project name itself. So this project will be called Amberwood at Holland. It will be developed by Lian. So Lian, they themselves has already developed and built quite a few projects, so I will actually just show them around here. 212 in the entire development, stretched across 11 blocks, and they are capped at 6 stories only. So something interesting, when I went for the show flat briefing, developer initially can build up to 230 units. However, they chose to build lesser. That's why, interestingly, right, there is no 1 or 2 bedder units in this project. The smallest unit actually starts at 3 bedder and all the way up to 5. And because of the fact that they actually chose to build lesser units, right, they actually have more flexibility to play in terms of the ceiling height. So this project itself, right, the ceiling height is 3.18 meters, which is not very commonly seen in projects today. And to be honest, when I step into the show flat, the unit itself, because of the high ceiling, right, it actually make the whole outlook look very luxurious. So the breakdown is around 74 units of 3 bedders, 74 units of 4 bedders, and the remaining 64 units are actually the 5 bedroom unit. Clearly, you can see, right, this project is actually positioned more towards families. And also take note, this project has 100% parking lots. Meaning to say there is 212 parking lots, which makes sense because given the larger family size units here. So the tenure is 99 years leasehold starting from 2025 November. Their expected TOP is 30 June 2030. Moving on from the project detail, we will now talk a little bit more about the location itself. If you do not know yet, Amberwood is actually the first land plot that is actually developing in the whole of Holland Plain. So actually URA has planned to build approximately 2,500 homes within Holland Plain itself. There are a total of 8 land plots in Holland Plain. So Amberwood is actually the first development coming into this area. So URA is also planning to keeping a large portion of Holland Plain green. They are actually planning to build a community plain and a wetland park. There is this thing called the green fingers. So the green fingers will run between the future residential developments, and these connect residents towards the MRT station and the rail corridor. You also have a Holland Green Linear Park beside the development. And then there's King Albert Park MRT station nearby. So basically you're already sitting on a downtown line right now. And by 2032, right, it's planned as a cross-island interchange. So connectivity will actually improve as the area develops in future. Another interesting part about Amberwood is the surrounding housing profile. The development sits close to established good class bungalow. You find good class bungalows areas like the Garlic area. You might be thinking, why does this matter? Because these are predominantly low-rise, low-density neighborhoods. So the surrounding environment, right, feels very different from dense condo clusters. You get to see more greeneries, landed homes, and relatively low-rise building. And Amberwood itself is capped at 6 stories. So you're almost getting a landed kind of feel but with a condo facilities. Now, who do I think Amberwood actually makes sense for? Number 1, families who genuinely values this location at District 10. Number 2, buyers who prefer larger unit and low density living. Number 3, you're someone who likes landed surrounding without owning a landed property. You still get condo facilities, lifestyle, and easier maintenance compared to a landed property owner. It could appeal to those people who are actually buying near their own landed homes. This project, in my opinion, right, definitely does not appeal to those short-term investors because the entry quantum is much higher and the buyer pool is actually narrower. I actually see this as more of a medium to long-term family purchase where lifestyle and capital preservation matters more than the quick returns. Now, just a disclaimer, whatever I am going to share here are my own opinions and mine only. So the developer paid approximately 368 million for this site, and which works out to be around 1,432 per square foot per plot ratio. The indicative pricing hasn't released yet, so I will just base it off on the most recent CCR launch, which is quite nearby Amberwood, and that's Dunearn House. So Dunearn House land plot was bought at 1,410 per square foot per plot ratio. And on launch day, they sold 56% of their units at an average of 3,140 per square foot. So for my own price matrix, I actually have a starting price from 2,008 per square foot to 3,400 per square foot. I mean, it's my wishful thinking that developer will actually launch it at 2008, but you know, you never know sometimes. And just to remind you, because there is no 1 or 2 bedroom for this project, your entry quantum will naturally be higher because the smallest unit we have in this project is actually a 3-bedder at 872 square feet. So if you see the price matrix itself, right, at 3,100 per square foot, you are actually looking to enter into this project at 2.7 million. For 4 bedrooms, which starts at 1076 square feet, with the same PSF, you are actually looking to enter at 3.3 million, and for 5 bedroom you're looking at the entry price of 4.1 million. But of course, different layout, different facing, different level will give you different types of price. And if you like to have a full breakdown, feel free to contact me over here. We will now talk about the most important part of buying any property, which is your pricing. And I usually look at this in 3 ways. Number 1, the past transacted. Number 2, the present price. And number 3, what does the future land cost actually tells us? For past pricing, let's take a look at 4th Avenue residence, which is in the vicinity of Amberwood. 2 months back, there was a 947 square feet 3-bedder sold at 2.65 million. So the per square foot is about 2,798 per square foot. Just to note, 4th Avenue is actually a non-harmonized project. So if today we just use a simple 5%, so 947 minus 5%, it will become around 8. Okay, so if I take 265, yeah, so the PSF now 2947 okay. And 4th Avenue is actually a 99-year leasehold starting from 2018. So it's about 8 years old now already. So let's say I were to reset it back to 99, right? It's about per square feet. Okay, so now let's take a look at the present pricing. Of course, we will talk about Dunearn House, which is the most recent new launch that happened in the district itself. So the developer paid approximate 1,410 per square foot per plot ratio. And on launch day, they sold 56% of units at an average of 3,140 per square foot. Now we compare that to Amberwood land cost. So the developer paid around 1,432 per square foot per plot ratio. That's around 1.6% higher than Dunearn House. And for future pricing, we will look at the land pricing itself, because land pricing will tell us what we will be potentially paying in the future. So if we look at 2025, which was last year, so Dunearn House 1410, and then now we have Amberwood 1432. So right beside Amberwood, the Holland Plain second plot, which was also bought by the same developer, Lian, at 1491 per square foot per plot ratio. So right beside Dunearn House, there's also another plot which was bought at around 1,625 per square foot per plot ratio. And then we look at River Valley Parcel C, which was bought at 1,730 per square foot per plot ratio. So actually based on this, right, if you look at the trajectory, right, prices in CCR area itself is actually going on an upward trend. In a way, GLS actually tells us how prices will look like for the next few launches that will be happening next year. And based on historical data, land prices will only continue to go up. To wrap up today's video, I feel Amberwood has quite a unique positioning. I would describe it as a quiet luxury project. It's not about being flashy or being in a city. I just feel that the greenery, the landed surroundings, and also the peaceful environment helps elevate the whole entire project itself. When I went to the show flat and I witnessed it myself, I can really see the whole intent of what the developer is trying to do, and the location itself really helps a lot. Imagine when you come out of your balcony or you look out your window, right, you actually see a glimpse of the GCB houses and also basically all the landeds lah. And you might ask yourself, maybe one day I will shift down to that. I don't know, okay, but personally I feel it elevates my mood, because I'm a person who really enjoys looking into the greeneries and away from hustle and bustle kind of environment. Secondly, because it's the privacy and the low density living. This project only have 212 units spread across 11 blocks. This actually caters more towards people who value their private space. Third, you're actually quite close to living like a landed environment, but not yet landed, because it's a low rise, right, 6 levels. You are surrounded by landed homes and GCB neighborhood, but you still get to enjoy the facilities and the convenience of a condo. Number 4, there's also a prestige of the address, and I think this will matter to a certain group of buyers. People who have worked hard and want their home to reflect that, not necessarily to show off, but because the address might mean something to them. The fifth point, the price positioning is actually quite interesting. So if you remember, just now we talked about the resale of 4th Avenue Residences, and then we talked about the new launch of Dunnan House just a few months ago. And then we also have a glimpse of the future government land sale pricing, which show us what the developers are actually paying for next. Based on these 3 findings, right, it gave us context to determine whether or not today's entry price makes sense or not. Last but not least, I actually like that this project is catered towards families. Everything starts from 3 bedroom all the way up to 5 room. There isn't 1 or 2 bedders. The layouts and unit mix are mainly built around family living, and when I was at the show flat, the layouts are actually all very well thought of, very functional, and I think you should actually go down and take a look, even if you're not buying, just to actually get a feel of how it feels to actually live in there. And I think that's what Amberwood is really about. Royal luxury, privacy, family living, and a prestigious residential environment. So what do you think about Amberwood at Holland? Will you choose this over the other CCR launches? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you are considering to make a property move, feel free to reach out. Here is my number. We can sit down and discuss more before deciding anything. As always, enter right, hold strong, and build intentionally. See you in the next video. Bye bye.